University was an interesting time. Of course, had just come to the end of high school and needed to work out what I was going to do next. My hometown, Mergen, didn't have a university, otherwise I probably never would have left. But I knew that I needed to find something that would be worthy of my superior intellect. And so as I looked through the guidance counselor's book of possible employment opportunities, I came across forensic psychologist. And that seemed suitably sophisticated enough for me, and there happened to be a couple of TV shows on at the time, Halifax FP and Cracker, and they were forensic psychologists, and I could certainly see myself in that role, getting aside the criminal mind and working out what I was going to do. So I applied for a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology at the University of Queensland in 1999. They accepted, and so my journey at university began. So finding a group that I could find instant friends and an instant connection with, and I got involved with student life straight from as soon as I could, essentially, and it was wonderful. The first few weeks after I had said yes to being part, there was a movie night where we went out to see Shakespeare in Love, and a guy called Andrew Bryan sort of basically took me under his wing a bit that night, and I really felt included and felt valued and thought, yeah, this is a group that I could really be a part of. It was particularly in that second year of uni that I had what I would call my spiritual birthday, where my faith actually became something that was more than just an identity, more than just something that my parents had raised me in, but something that was more than just a piece of clothing that I was wearing. It was something that hit me to my core. Feeling from, again, second year of uni, that a ministerial life was more where God was calling me rather than a secular career, even though I could still use my faith in those areas. Wanting to have that focus of sharing faith and Jesus with people as my main emphasis. I wanted to follow that path, and having the opportunity to be a missionary with student life was certainly something that I could feel God calling me into. So I was invited to a dinner at the Adamsons' place, and we were sitting around after dinner talking, and I just felt comfortable enough to start sharing my passion for British humour. And everyone was so shocked. I remember Scott saying that he didn't realize that this is who I was. I was a completely different person to who he had got to know in that past year. And from then on, it was no holds barred. After time spending as a missionary with student life, I was still feeling the call into ministry, and I wanted to pursue it more directly, which was one of the reasons that I stopped being a missionary. I wanted to engage in more intense theology study. Again, through student life connections, I had the opportunity to go over to Hong Kong for 5 months as I was an Australian leading an English congregation for a Korean mission church in Hong Kong. So that was an interesting experience. And in 2016, I was ordained a minister of the Uniting Church. I've spent 4 years in Mackay in placement in the congregation, another year in Rockhampton doing similar work, and now at the start of this year I've become chaplain at Scott's PGC, where I'm ministering to a group of students that range from prep to grade 12, and the staff as well, and also doing some pastoral work in the areas around. So it's been a rocket ride of a journey, and there's still so much more still to come. And it was almost at that moment that I had resigned myself to the single life that I met Kate while I was in Mackay, and she had been single all her life too, and it was really a first relationship for either of us, but it was such a God moment that we saw it not just as two people in a relationship, but part of our own discipleship in growing closer to God. The love that we felt for each other was recognizing love that was being given to us from God, and being able to share God's given love with each other. And then I think it was a year later, he blessed us with a wonderful son, William, who has just turned 2 in July, and actually it was 2 years later. He was born in 2020. We were married in 18. He was born in 2020. So yeah, 2 years. And it really is impossible to fully express the significant impact on being part of Power to Change or student life. It was, God brought me to student life at the time that I needed to find that group that was that basis. But through all that, God continued to teach me through even the simple idea of discipleship at the core of the mission of God. It's a ministry that God definitely inspired Bill Bright to begin, and has just gone on beyond, I'm sure, even what he may have imagined long after he's been called home to his glory. The work that God started through him continues, and yeah, it's just amazing.